I've been watching the new Ryan Reynolds ads flooding YouTube, and they're great. I think it's like the way he markets his stuff. I just think it's like nobody else is doing it quite like him. Sure, somebody else is. He's just the way he does it is so good. He just like shamelessly buys stakes in all these companies, and then he just makes the ad and he just uses his persona to drive interest in that product or company, and then he gets out. He's almost like a VC, a popularity based VC. In aviation gin, I think last month he cashed out and they sold it for like 610 million.
But what's his stake?
I don't know the numbers.
Okay.
I imagined he did pretty well. I think he was already doing well before he got in. He kind of gave it a big boost. He got out. Now he's doing the same with like a mobile provider. So we've been seeing that on like the George Clooney, Ryan Reynolds level, but I'm also seeing it on like the PewDiePie level and like the H3 level, like the smaller creators, basically doing the same thing. And it's just interesting to see the direction it's moving. Have you guys seen any of the ads?
I'm just watching the Gen one now.
I saw it. Like, I think these are different things that you're talking about. So, like, when I look at the aviation gin one, that's a smaller liquor company coming to him and saying, "Hey, we're willing to give you a stake in this company, and you're going to be the marketing face of this, and we're going to drive it through your celebrity and your publicity. We're going to drive the brand to a certain thing, and then we're going to sell it to a larger liquor company." This is Jay-Z going to Ace of Spades. This is P. Diddy and Ciroc. These are companies that already exist. They have a smaller market brand, and they're looking to drive that brand to a different valuation, and they're going to use a celebrity partner to do it. That's a little different than him taking a small stake in like a Mint Mobile, because how big a stake does he really have in Mint? It's not that big, right?
How's it different from the gin? He had a stake in the gin as well.
Because Mint's, I mean, how much stock were they willing to give him?
Is Mint's a bigger company than the gin?
Yeah,
probably.
Isn't the idea behind it the same?
No, not really. It's like almost being like Mint. He's almost a celebrity endorser, and maybe he's paid in stock. It's also not like a lifestyle. Like, one of the reasons that Ciroc and Diddy and Jay-Z and Ace of Spades were able to drive that brand is because they built it around, this is our lifestyle. Like, how many more products can Reynolds do it with where people are like, does he really use this? Like, is this his brand? Like, is this like is this Ryan Reynolds toilet paper?
The humor of his ads is it's so shameless, is that he doesn't use these. I think that's the joke, is he's just a funny business. Like, he does, it's super self-aware and self-deprecating. Like, he's just, the reason I sent the one he did the Mint Mobile slideshow is because he clearly doesn't know anything about it, and that's the joke. It's just a collection of nonsensical slides, him saying, "Hey, I bought a part of this." It's kind of like a breath of fresh air compared to celebrities who buy stuff and then pretend to use them, like Gal Gadot being the face of Huawei, but her tweets say, sent from iPhone, and then her team tries to cover it up. Like, he doesn't try to cover it up.
But that's just celebrity endorsement, right?
Yeah, I think to the average consumer, I don't even know if they know the difference between endorsement and then becoming a minority stakeholder. I think they just see a celebrity talking about a product, and they just care, is it entertaining? Does it make them laugh? Do they feel like they're being bullshitted? Just the way he does it is pretty funny to me. And I've been seeing, I saw Hugh Jackman just do one for shoes as well. And I know they're friends, so it's like a similar approach. It's interesting. I've seen PewDiePie do it too. Like, companies have approached him to have a stake in like a product. He had like a video game gun that he was promoting, and he'll use it and he'll talk about it. And but it's still obviously an endorsement. It's just like he kind of jokes around with it. It's interesting to see. It's very different from the H3 people starting their own apparel company, and like that's their company, which I get is different.
The really bad ones, Kevin Bacon is on in the, like, all the Yanks come over to the UK and do commercials here. So Kevin Bacon is on an EE commercial, which is a mobile network, and he's like acting like, Like they're like, why are you so happy? He's like, oh, I just saved so much on my phone bill, and it's not a joke. It's as though he's a customer, and it's shit. There was another one with Robert De Niro on like a car commercial, and it is so bad. You're like, oh my god. But I mean, it's just marketing money that they throw, and we're talking about it now. So I mean, I can't remember the name of the car, but I remembered it was EE for the Kevin Bacon one.
I mean, it's some of them, the bad ones, they're bullshitting you. I think that's why those don't do as well.
Sure, but
Yeah.
I think we're talking about. Maybe I'm confused. We're talking about two different things. Like that's just celebrity endorsement, right? Like that's been done since the 20s.
So what's the difference with that and the Gen one?
Well, there's a big difference between Jay-Z going to Ace of Spades and saying Jay-Z has a falling. Jay-Z basically drinks. What the fuck's the name of it? Oh,
Piss.
well, it's gonna slip my mind. But there's another champagne that Jay-Z was drinking that was on all his tables, on all his videos, and one of the owners said something, made a racist remark or something like that. So Jay-Z had a falling out with this champagne company. So he found this very small, smaller sized champagne house called Armand de Brignac in France, and their symbol, their house symbol, is the Ace of Spades. And Jay-Z went to them and said, "Hey, I'm going to invest some capital into your champagne brand, and for a stake in your company, I will drive your champagne brand through my lifestyle. I will talk about it. I will rap about it. I will put it in videos. I will drive your brand." And they were like, "Yeah, let's do it."
Bet they were.
And they became Ace of Spades champagne. Like they went from.
Are you thinking of Cristal?
That's Cristal.
The original
Cristal is the
champagne?
original one. So that's very different from saying, "Oh, I'm a celebrity endorser and you're paying me just a quick salary." That's different from Gal Gadot. P. Diddy taking an equity stake in Ciroc.
Yeah, you think it's the better way to do it because it seems more authentic that way.
You can only do it a couple times,
long-term.
though. Oh, it's way more authentic. You can only do it a couple times. Like I was having this conversation with Sharjan. We were talking about Drake. And I was looking, and Drake was doing like a sneaker thing for Nike or something. And what I said to Sharjan was, if I was Drake's people, why wouldn't you find like a retro sneaker brand like Pony or like a New Balance, something that is just sort of still around, taking a 30 or 20% stake in the company, and then there's you driving that brand. Like there's 10 or so celebrities that have the clout to be actually able to drive a brand. It's like Kylie Jenner starting her own cosmetic company as opposed to taking $100 million from Estee Lauder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's more long term too. Like the short payout that
it's risky.
It is, unless you do it selectively and you're really good at selling it. I don't know how much Gal Gadot would push her own phone brand, but I'm sure like it's easy to take a payment from Huawei and just be the face of it for a little bit. But the way, like, I would have never even heard of aviation if Ryan Reynolds didn't talk about it, because I know Clooney will do like a watch ad or a liquor ad, but I never quite remember those ones because they only run for like a month or two.
The Clooney tequila is a little different. That was actually something that him and his partner started from scratch and built.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. The Casamigos tequila, they actually did something different. They actually built it from scratch. It's actually their money.
I get why you like it, Roman.
Right.
I've seen a few of the ads. I prefer, because celebrities are just so fake anyway, especially actors. I mean, literally their lives are the fakest thing possible. What we see of them anyway. And just have them, at least say, "Oh, I'm in it for the money. Yeah, I'm here for the money." And I'd love it if they said, "You fucking morons are going to pay for this just because I'm in it. And if not, you're going to talk about this." If they start doing that, that's fine. However, I do think we're going to see a lot more people go, "Oh, it's like Bill Hicks's old joke about marketers. Like, if you're in marketing, go kill yourself. Like, seriously, go kill yourself." And he's like, and all you marketers in the audience sitting there going, "He's going for the anti-marketing market. That's a good market." It's like, no, don't do it. Go fucking kill yourself. So yeah, people will do the same thing. They'll be like, they'll be like, "Oh, we should do it as well. Just act. We don't have to pretend. Let's stop pretending, and people like us."
Bill Burr just openly mocks the advertisers on his podcast, and they love it. It's the new marketing, the anti-marketing marketing.
Come Town do it as well.
Like,
It's
he just
brilliant.
makes fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
like they don't care about MeUndies. They
Yeah.
don't wear them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the public likes products where they likes marketing where they don't think they're being marketed at.
So we were talking about this a bit on Slack with YouTubers when they get popularity. Should they just go ahead and just launch their own thing, or should they go the uh face the face of the company route and do what Ryan Reynolds is doing and just get a stake and then just push it on their channel? Like, what do you think is long term is going to be better for them?
Depends on the individual, who they are. I mean, YouTube channels are so different. Like Marquez, he could do either because he both reviews products. So, he's going to get behind something which is awesome. And he's got the know-how and he's done the research into knowing what the market kind of wants, at least what he wants. And you can go, this guy's tried everything. I'll go with the product he's made. So someone like that could go either way. I think it's just case by case. But it's a fine line,
He's launching his own his own iPhone, like smartphone case and accessory company, from what I've seen.
Yeah, but he could also get behind another company, and people would be equally okay with it, just because he's got the credentials.
My issue with the whole celebrity branding YouTube influencer market as a business is that it's solely predicated on the whims of the public. So anything you can do to take your money to insulate yourself from that, to me, is a smart move. A portion of your money should be invested or put into vehicles that are not dependent on your celebrity.
Yeah, right. You're talking about like real estate.
Sure, real estate, other businesses, things that don't have anything to do with your star shining bright.
Being liked.
Yeah, because that can go away at any point.
Because that can go away, as we've seen, especially in this world, that can go away at any moment. So now that's a fine line because your greatest leverage is also driving products that are related to your stardom. So I think you need a balance. But if you put it all into things that are solely related to your celebrity, you're incredibly vulnerable.
Any examples spring to mind?
Of people who've gone the other way?
Both examples.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you want to talk about someone who's done it the right way, the paradigm for me is always sort of like a Magic Johnson. Like you look at a Magic Johnson who invested in, things that are not necessarily related to his stardom. Sony movie theater, Starbucks, but like building a company and having his company run and manage these entities. So it's his company, it's his investment company, but they're buying stakes and they're taking over companies. Like if I'm the money manager for an athlete who signs a $40 million contract, it's 50 Popeyes franchises. Hold off on the Lambo and let's get 5 Popeyes. Well, why? Well, because 20 years from now, 15 years from now, the Popeyes are going to be churning you $20,000 a month. Like that's the mistake where they make. Like the money goes into other things rather than creating a passive income for you, which is where it should be going because you have the capital to create passive incomes. So I look at like a Magic Johnson, and to me that's super smart.
It makes so much sense when you say it is in practice. When you look at YouTubers who all they know is building around their own personality, like I think a lot of them struggle to put the money into anything that's not about them. I can't think of too many examples, but like Casey Neistat started a tech company and sold it to CNN, but I think even that was predicated on people liking him enough to use the service.
Right.
It wasn't like a Popeyes that was so detached from. So I don't know how you do it as a small YouTuber.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're a small YouTuber, you're still growing, right? Like you're still just trying to build the brand as big as you possibly can. We're talking about people in the upper echelon of, you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars of investable income, right? Tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah, I'm wondering people who are doing it successfully at the lower level. Like H3 is probably the best example I can think of because their apparel brand has nothing to do with their name. It's just a separate company. But like you were saying, if the public was to turn against them, there's nothing stopping the public from boycotting their brand as well. So how do you like create the several levels of abstraction?
I think people only wear that shit because it's their stuff.
Yeah. When you say apparel brand to me, I hear nightclub. Like to me, that's like the most disposable business you could possibly go into. Well, what are you gonna do? Oh, I'm gonna own a nightclub. Okay, awesome. That to me is the apparel brand. Like we're gonna start an apparel brand.
But you could sell an apparel brand. You could sell it.
You 100% can. Like you can definitely sell the apparel brand.
Like Frank and Oak could buy it.
Sure. So my question is, does H3 drive like are they driving a lifestyle brand?
That apparel brand is pure life. That people only go there because it's their stuff. It's almost like just merchandise for the podcast.
That's
say.
So that's what I'm saying. When you say apparel, yeah.
Right. They call it a label, but it's called Teddy Fresh, and the stuff looks like Battenberg cakes and Neapolitan ice cream. It looks fucking retarded, and people only like it because they like Ethan and his stupid wife. Actually, I quite like them both, but you know what I mean? It's because they're popular that people fucking love that. No one would ever wear Teddy Fresh, like, if those two cunts went around.
So my question is, if they were in a car accident tomorrow, does the apparel brand continue on? Does the person who takes over their trust able to drive the apparel brand for the next 20 years? Or is it predicated on their lifestyle and being a fan of their product?
It's them, yeah.
So that's merch then.
Yeah, it's merch.
Like they didn't start like a Gucci. They didn't start a brand that's completely unrelated to their lifestyle.
Yeah, because they wouldn't have to push it through their podcast. You know what I mean? They're constantly talking about it.
So from you, Sean, what would you say if someone was a moderately successful YouTube person? They're not Ryan Reynolds, they're not Magic Johnson. What would you tell them to do with their money to help like safeguard themselves from, the tide?
Well, so this is the same thing I would tell any small business person in any realm, wherever you're coming into any disposable income of any kind, is you have to find a vehicle where you're making money while you sleep. So before you buy, and this goes into, and I start sounding like Gary Vee and sounding like an asshole, but before you start buying things that are depreciating in value, you have to create a stream of revenue where you make money when you sleep. Once you figure that out, you can spend that money on whatever you want. But until you figure that out, if you're spending money on anything, if you have any income coming in and you're spending it on anything other than trying to create a business or invest in a business where you get paid when you sleep, you're making a mistake.
So Magic Johnson's the good example. Who really fucked this up? Come on, we need. We're all thinking of someone, but let's not talk about him again.
Who?
Jobs clearly fucking this whole thing.
Okay. If you were to go no brainer for me,
sorry,
I don't know the intimate of his finances, but just from looking at it, the number one, the person that I look at it where I see is Floyd
Mayweather.
Like, yeah, because if you have $400 million fights, if over the next 20 years you're not a multi-billionaire, you've done something wrong. If you've taken home $300 or $400 million paydays in your career, and in 20 years you're not worth $2 billion, $3 billion, you've made mistakes.
Runs his own company, his fight company, doesn't he? He manages himself, and that's about it. Represents himself. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, and I don't know, like, obviously, I don't know, like, the inner workings of his finances, but
I'm wondering if he has, like, a vitamin water type of deal, like 50 had, like, something we don't know about that's kind of low-key that he's sitting on.
Maybe he's a super savvy investor, and we just don't know. Like, that's very, very possible.
Some people just don't care about that kind of stuff. Like, some people just don't really, I mean, it's a different lifestyle. Like, some people just don't care about creating passive income. Like, they work and they spend the money and then they work again. And
but you can't do it for eternity. Like this, like every time Floyd's bank account gets low, he wants to go back in the ring, right?
Same with Robert De Niro with his terrible movies and the commercials in the UK. They're horrendous. It's horrendous. I saw a UK commercial with what's the guy who plays the wolf in Pulp Fiction?
Harvey Keitel.
Harvey Keitel, right?
Twilight.
Twilight. Harvey Keitel, right? And he's playing the character of the wolf in an insurance company in the UK. So the wolf will turn up and give you like a good deal on your home insurance. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. But he's only doing it because he's run out of money.
Yeah, but that's just brand recognition because people are fucking retarded.
I know, but he wouldn't be doing it if he didn't need the money.
I don't know. I don't think De Niro needs the money.
That's why I respect Seinfeld. He doesn't. The whole view on money is like it just lets me work on shit that I care about and lets me
Right.
say no to the shit that I don't like. That's everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's the fucking dream to be at a place in life where like a company comes up to you and like, hey, do you want to be just the face of this proper whiskey brand? You go, all right. And then 10, 20 years later, like you never have to work again.
That's the dream, right? For pretty much everyone. But I don't think it just exists on that level. I think it exists on a smaller level, just in smaller numbers, right?
The only like unique case I can say where someone actively turns it down is Ricky Gervais. I've watched a lot of interviews of his where he gets approached to do this kind of stuff, and he's like, I don't care. I don't care about it. Like I just like doing my projects. I'm happy with the amount of money I make. I never plan on not working.
Sure, but what happens? Okay, but what happens when you can't?
Yes, it's your time to go, just quietly into the
Is it?
night.
Okay, but what if it's not your time to go? So what if you're sick? Like this is where this with the whole like I don't care about money thing's fucking just a stupid argument to me. Like what if you get sick and you can't work?
Don't they have enough? They have
Maybe they
enough
don't.
in the account. Hopefully, they just get by. Yeah.
Do you know how fast that goes when you're paying managers, you're paying agents, you're paying to the
Yeah.
government?
Yeah.
Like how fast it goes. That's what I'm saying. Like to me, it all comes down to choices. Like instead of spending the money on things you don't need, why don't you build the passive income so you never have to worry about it?
Makes sense. That's what the aim should be for everybody, I think.
That
No
should
matter
be the
what
end
your
for
level.
everyone. If you have a ton of disposable income and your number one goal is not creating a revenue generating vehicle that makes revenue, regardless of whether or not I'm there, I'm sick, I'm involved, I'm in Tahiti for 6 months. If you're spending your money on anything other than that, when you have disposable money, you're making a huge mistake. You're completely vulnerable. If anything happens to your star, if it comes out tomorrow that Ricky Gervais forced some guy to suck his cock, you'll wish you had $30,000 a month or 40,000 or 50 or 100 coming in from something that's unrelated to your brand.